Welcome inside the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. Welcome into a beautiful Wednesday evening here at the Huskers Radio Network. Earlier today, you heard it right here on the Huskers Radio Network. Huskers Baseball took on New Mexico State, and it was Efrain Cervantes walking it off and completing the Huskers comeback win with this play in the bottom of the ninth.
Bustamante comes set. And the pitch. Fastball hits into right field. Base hit. Huskers win the game. Efrain Cervantes just served it into right field. Matthews scores. Huskers have rallied to win it 6-5.
Huskers reliever Braxton Bragg steadied the ship after having to enter the game early, pitching 4 innings, surrendering just 1 earned run. Cam Chick sparked the Huskers comeback in the 8th with a 2-run shot, his second homer of the year. Efrain Cervantes, you just heard, he completed the Huskers comeback with a walk-off single. And then the Big Red will get right back to it this Friday as they continue their homestand, as they also continue to look to extend their win streak on Friday at 6:35 p.m. Pre-game coverage right here on the Huskers Radio Network begins at 6 p.m. Their opponent will be the Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders. As March Madness ramps up, the Huskers women's basketball team arrived in Lexington, Kentucky today. You'll hear from Bella Cravens later in the hour as the Big Red gets set for Gonzaga this Friday. Tip-off is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. Central this Friday with Huskers Radio Network pregame coverage beginning at 2:15. Berger Lambrechts Jr. capped an outstanding indoor track and field season by being named the Big Ten Field Athlete of the Year today. Lambrechts Jr. had a strong showing at the NCAA Indoor Championships last weekend, finishing 4th in the shot put, recording a season-best throw of 67-0.5. He earned first-team All-America honors, the 4th All-America accolade of his career. He is the first ever Husker to win both the Big Ten Men's Field Athlete of the Championships and Big Ten Athlete of the Year, and now ranks 2nd in Huskers men's shot put history. First fours are wrapping up today in both the men's and women's college hoops on the eve of March Madness. On the men's side, Bryant and Wright State are underway playing right now in the South region, with Wright State up at score in that one 22-16 as we take a live look there. At 8:10 p.m., you'll also be seeing Notre Dame taking on Rutgers in the West region. On the women's side, Incarnate Word and Howard are just underway in the Greensboro region, and in that same region later tonight, it'll be DePaul taking on Dayton at 8 p.m. Lastly, NFL free agency is now officially underway as the NFL league year started earlier this afternoon. Some early notable signings. Edge rusher Von Miller has signed with the Buffalo Bills. His max contract value is $120 million over 6 years. That is a lot of incentives in that. Only $32 million fully guaranteed. Linebacker Miles Jack also signing a big deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a 2-year deal for $16 million. And a notable release earlier today, Julio Jones was let go by the Titans. We'll try to keep you posted as we get more moves throughout the next 2 hours. That's the ticker. My name is Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
9 wins in the last 12 as Andrews lost this one. Deep right field, sweet all the way back, and it's gone! Home run, Billy Andrews! Her 14th home run of the year, and it's 5-0 Nebraska in the top of the 6th.
The 1-1 pitch to Everett. Griffin swings, and it's a high fly to right. Backing up is Goldston. He's to the track. He's to the wall. He jumps, and it is gone. A 2-homer day for Griffin Everett. And the Huskers do have their first lead at 5-3.
Farrell's 3-1, swinging a ground ball to short. Andrews to her left. Deflects it right to Ibarra, standing on the bag at second for the force out of Hernandez to finish off the 7-inning complete game shutout for Farrell, the first in her career.
Griffin drills one to right center field. Long run for the outfitters, and nobody's going to get there. It's going to score Anderson, and the Huskers are going to walk the Mavericks off here today. Nebraska wins it 6-5 to claim their home opener. What a day for Griffin Everett. He gets 4 hits, including the game winner with a double to the right center field gap.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to another edition of Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. You got your brackets done? You got a couple hours left before the tournament starts. Nobody counts the first 4 games. You got till about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to get those brackets filled out. And if history holds, my bracket will be busted by about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Probably all torn up because I'll miss about the first 5 games in the bracket. But what a fun time of year, busy time of year. You got everything happening in Huskers with the Husker women landing in Louisville just about 15 minutes ago. They practiced earlier today. Amy Williams met with the media. We'll hear some of her comments before they departed as they get ready to play Gonzaga on Friday. It'll be a 2:30 tip time in Louisville at the Yum Center, which is a building that looks almost identical to PBA. In fact, I think the same people that built both of those arenas, so I'm sure it should be a little bit of familiarity for the Huskers as they go there. Also, you have the Husker wrestling team is in Detroit. You got 8 wrestlers. The NCAA Wrestling Championship start tomorrow in Detroit. The first session's in the morning. We wish those 8 Husker wrestlers good luck with that. Here's what we have coming up on the program. Jessica is with the Husker team. She's going to join us later in the hour from Louisville to tell us how the travels have been, what kind of the mood of the team is as they go get back in the NCAA tournament. And for a lot of this team, it's their first experience in the NCAA tournament, so I'm sure excitement levels are pretty high for that group. We're going to hear from Bella Cravens, who's been a huge part of this team all season long. Jessica did a profile piece with her and her parents. We're going to hear some of that coming up here in just a little bit as well. Hour number 2, Jake Muehlheisen going to stop by. We're going to talk about what he thinks about the bracket, who's his Final Four. I can't wait to hear what Jake thinks is going to happen on the men's side in the next couple of weeks for the NCAA tournament. And what does he think is going to happen with Husker basketball in the coming weeks? We expect some moves with the roster, perhaps even with the staff for Fred Hoiberg. So we'll get Jake's take on all of that coming up in hour number 2. Also in the second hour, Mike Babcock, who writes for Hail Varsity, used to write for the Lincoln Journal-Star, kind of a Husker historian, is going to come join us, and we're going to reminisce about the great Charlie Green, who passed away earlier this week. Charlie was the first ever Nebraska Olympic gold medalist. Won gold in the 1968 games in Mexico City, stayed a part of the Lincoln community, loved Nebraska, loved Husker track and field, a wonderful gentleman, a part of Nebraska's first athletic department Hall of Fame back in 2015. Passed away earlier this week. We're going to talk to Mike Babcock and get his thoughts about that. Also, Mike loves baseball. We'll get his thoughts about Husker baseball and the fact that the major leagues are back underway. In fact, spring training games start in just a couple of days down in both Arizona and in Florida. And as always, phone lines open for you, 402-413-2400. Give us a call, fire off a text. Love to talk about that. Let's start with Husker baseball. Wow, what a magical final couple of innings it was out at Haymarket Park today. Nebraska was absolutely getting shut down by Rurik Maltrud, who just went 7 innings, only allowed 1 hit. Huskers were down 5-2, and he exited the game. And then Nebraska got after the bullpen for the Aggies. Cam Chick slammed a 2-run home run in the 8th to make it a 5-4 game. And then you heard it in Tim's ticker, the Huskers walk off the Aggies. And now that's 3 in a row for this team, and it's 5 of their last 7. And you can sense some momentum with this group. And it really, I think, kind of started after the disappointing loss on Sunday to Omaha. Players had a players-only meeting when they got back to Lincoln on the bus ride from Omaha on Sunday night. And I think they aired out a lot of things. And they talked about how they've got to kick-start this thing. And what we've seen is 3 straight wins, 2 in walk-off fashion, 1 Monday over Omaha where, again, it was like pulling teeth to get things going. Then a comfortable win last night. Just forget about the 9th inning where you had a couple young pitchers who don't throw much who had control issues. That was a dominant win last night. And then today ran up against a really good pitcher and kind of survived it, got to the bullpen, and then pulled it out and won it when Nebraska was really throwing a lot of their kind of non-essential pitchers in this game today. But I was really proud of Braxton Bragg. In fact, Tim mentioned that. I think he was kind of the key to the game. Went 4 1/3 innings after the 2 freshmen and Christo and Brockett had a tough first and second inning. Bragg kind of settled it in and gave this team a chance late, and then they cashed it in. And you could just kind of sense a little bit of a turn with this group. And obviously, they got to keep going. They've dug a bit of a hole here. Only 7-9 now through 16 games. They have the 3 games coming up over the weekend with Corpus Christi and then a midweek game next week with South Dakota State before conference play begins with Michigan coming to Haymarket Park to play. But you start to see guys like Bryce Matthews settle in and play better baseball. Griffin Everett has been tremendous in the last couple of weeks. And then Cam Chick with that big blow today. You hope that gets him going a little bit. Max Anderson has been getting a hit or 2 a game, and I think that's been key for this team to get going. And really, their starting pitching has been very, very good, even since they came back to Nebraska to play Omaha twice and then New Mexico State twice. You've gotten good starts out of Cody Frank, Shea Shanneman, terrific start last night from Dawson McCarville, and then a good outing from Bragg today in relief. But, you know, there's some signs that this thing is kind of flipping on this team. I think the effort has been better and starting to kind of get this thing cranked up a little bit. So good win today for this team, good stretch of games. You can just see it being around the team a little bit, the confidence starting to grow with the Huskers. And, you know, with league play now just 9 days away with Michigan coming to town, a good time to get this thing cranked up and ready to go for the Huskers. Also, want to mention a couple of good news for some former Husker football players. The Huskers are on spring break right now, so the current team is off this week. They'll resume practices next week. In fact, next Tuesday will be their next practice session. That'll be our next chance to hear from some of the coaches as well. Bill Bush, the special teams coordinator, will meet with the media after practice on Tuesday. But some big news, and Tim was giving you some of the latest from the NFL signings. Both of these happened yesterday, but Randy Gregory, in a weird day where it looked like he had a deal with the Cowboys, which is where he's been. And then apparently the Cowboys put some different kind of language in his contract that he didn't like. The Broncos were waiting in the wings, and they signed Randy to a 5-year, $70 million deal. So kudos to Randy Gregory, who's fought a lot of demons in his life. He's fought some drug issues that it's been an uphill climb for Randy, really most of his life, to kind of fight his way through that. But a 5-year, $70 million deal for Randy. And then Malik Collins. A lot of people forget about Malik, still in the league with the Houston Texans. He signed a nice 2-year, $17 million deal with the Texans. So a couple of former black shirts who've now been in the league for a handful of years. Randy's last year was 2014 with the Huskers. Malik's was 2015. Those guys both signed really nice free agent deals in the last 24 hours as the free agent clock has opened up with the NFL. And obviously the Brady announcement Sunday night precluded what was going to be an open calendar for the NFL on Monday, and it's been a really active week in the National Football League. So those are some of the things we have going on Sports Nightly here tonight. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. When we come back, we'll hear some clips from Amy Williams, who met with the media earlier today before they boarded the flight to get to Louisville, and Jessica had a chance to catch up with Bella Cravens and her parents to talk about her journey through college basketball, which began five years ago as she started her career playing out in the Northwest. As she began her career at Eastern Washington, played 2 years there before transferring to Nebraska. I think you'll enjoy that conversation. Jessica will join us a little bit later on in the hour from Louisville. They're just getting off the plane, getting on a bus, getting to the hotel. She'll join us when she gets into Louisville. We got a lot more Sports Nightly straight ahead.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
In a world where fun and cash prizes collide, one game explodes to the forefront. Cash Blast from the Nebraska Lottery. Non-stop excitement, a winning thrill ride, and starring you. Until April 12th, play 2x2 weekly for a chance to win $5,000 or $500. And if your ticket was a 7-day draw, your prize is double. Don't miss it. Cash Blast, playing at a lottery retailer near you. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000.
At Subaru, they love building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The redesigned 2021 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. An upgrade in horsepower means you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Visit DeToe Subaru at 27th Street and Jamie Lane in Lincoln or at DeToeSubaru.com. Upgraded horsepower available on select models.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Huskers fans, it's time to plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Single game tickets are on sale now at huskers.com/Ireland. Start the 2022 season in the best way. Plan your dream trip to Ireland and see your team face the Northwestern Wildcats at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. Buy your single game ticket today at huskers.com/Ireland.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus. Insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
This isn't the start. Before I got here, I started training. And before that, I did something to my back. But my first move was Athletico Physical Therapy. That's where I'd eventually end up. So why not start there? I mean, my therapist immediately found the source of my pain. These are the same physical therapists who work with elite marathon runners. So soon, I was back to running, but without pain. You got this.
It all starts at Athletico. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com.
Did you know that cigarette butts make up a large portion of microplastics in the ocean, which end up in 70% of seabirds and 30% of sea turtles? Bank of the West is helping to solve this problem by not financing big tobacco, proving that what a bank chooses not to finance can be just as important as what it does. Learn more about what we do and don't finance at bankofthewest.com/change. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From sprains and stitches to sore throats and sinus infections, when it's care that can't wait, count on CHI Health Clinic Priority Care. Simply walk in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll get the quality care you need without an appointment, and you'll never pay more than a regular primary care visit. Get in, get out, and get on with your day. Find a location near you at chihealth.com/priority care.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval. Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, it's the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe with you here on a Wednesday night. If you'd like to be a part of the program, 402-413-2400. That works as a phone call or a text. Let's go to our text line. Doug in Norfolk. Do you think some of the struggles of baseball goes back to last year where we couldn't play midweek games, maybe stunting the growth of younger pitchers, et cetera? I don't think there's any question, Doug, and I think you're seeing that around the country. A lot of weird scores around the country. Ben and I have been talking about how Arkansas has really struggled to beat people. They've lost some games, and yet they're still ranked like second in the country. But what happened last year is you had all the COVID leftover seniors that came back for a lot of programs, including Nebraska, and like the Hallmarks and the Ackers and the like. And so when you only played league games in the Big Ten, you didn't have these midweek games to develop players like Garrett Anglem, for instance, so the Husker wide receiver outfielder. And so he's now starting to kind of play a lot where you would have probably got him some at-bats last year. Same thing with some of these young pitchers. So I think it kind of did stunt this year for college baseball, probably elevated it last year. I think last year the play in college baseball was remarkably high because of all the veteran players and the lack of a long draft in the major leagues 2 summers ago where they really limited. I think they only had 10 rounds in the draft, so a lot of kids came back to play an extra year college baseball. So I think that's why you've seen a lot of unevenness across the country, not just with Nebraska's team, but across the country. It's a great observation. I think you're dead on with that. So, I think it may take a year or two to cycle back to kind of what you normally get for college baseball, but it has been great to have midweek non-conference games going this week, and I know the fans, with great weather both last night and today, we had good crowds out at Haymarket Park to watch this team play. All right, Amy Williams is now in Louisville. They landed about 25 minutes ago, but before she left, she did have a press conference here in Lincoln today, and we're going to start with just getting her thoughts about Friday's opponent. That's the Zags, the Bulldogs, out of the Western Coast Conference, a team that is the 9th seed and should be a stiff test for the Big Red. Here's the coach.
Yeah, I mean, they're an incredibly relentless rebounding team. They out-rebound opponents by 10. The other thing is, they run a lot of really good actions. I feel like, when we look at some of their breakdowns and the way they guard and man-to-man defense, they play a lot the same way we would like to play ourselves. But they start super seniors, seniors, juniors. They're a little more veteran and experienced roster. So I think that's what makes them tough and challenging, is they are very poised. They don't get rattled easy. When they're down, they just continue to play at their pace, and they make big plays and just like veterans do.
Now, the Huskers have certainly, it's been an interesting transformation for Nebraska's team. I think that they went into the year kind of thinking they maybe be one thing, but I think with Markowski's development, it kind of tweaked this team, and it made it really difficult to defend for opponents. Here's the coach talking about some of the versatility that she has now at her disposal with the team that she's got put together.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing is that we've been able to kind of learn how to take advantage of what people have been trying to really kind of take away. I think that, we're playing to the strengths of a player like Alexis Markowski, who can really be dominant in the paint, but also can stretch the defense. And then having a player like Izzy Bourne, who's kind of figuring that out and understanding where her opportunities are going to come from outside of that. And, at times Jazz Shelley is being, really aggressive-minded offensively with scoring the basketball, but she also knows that in certain ball games she can affect the game by getting other people open. But players like Sam Hybe and Allison Widener, who are hunting the paint and finding ways to get paint touches and really putting pressure on defenses, and that's creating a lot of offense for other players. But I think just we've got a great mix on our team this year of experienced players and some kind of young and hungry and excited players, and we're finally figuring out how to kind of mesh those two things together.
Comments from Amy Williams earlier today. Now, there's a couple of tweaks to the women's tournament this year. We've talked a little bit about this here in the last week or so. One was the tournament has gone from 64 to the 68, so they have the play-in. Tim talked about the 2 games that are going on tonight for the women's tournament. There'll be 2 more tomorrow, and then they really get going on Friday. The men start Thursday with tomorrow the full batch of games, but they've been in their first 4 last night and tonight. Wright State's got a 2-point lead. They're almost to halftime. Now 4-point lead inside the last 20 seconds of that game between Wright State and Bryant. But the women have added the first 4, and they went to a selection Sunday like the men have had. The women have been in the past, and we've even carried some of this here on Sports Island in the past, a Monday night show where we've had Matt Coatney at that thing and some live interviews right after the bracket got announced. But they moved it to Sunday this year so that they could start the tournament on a Friday. Go Friday, Sunday, or Saturday, Monday, depending on what location you're in. The Huskers in that Friday-Sunday matchup in Louisville. Here's the coach talking about the growth of the game and how much bigger it's getting in college basketball.
I appreciate you asking that question, and I think it's just such a tremendous time to be a part of women's basketball and watching the growth that's taking place, and with the attention that was brought to some of the discrepancies in the tournaments 1 year ago, and the way that action steps, since I've been at Nebraska, I don't think there's been one Big Ten head coaches meetings that I've been in that the head coaches aren't just adamant about proposing we should have 68 teams playing in the NCAA tournament and not 64, and it felt like nobody was listening, and now all of a sudden we're going to be playing in the first NCAA tournament with 68 teams. That's being referred to as March Madness. That I think there will be a lot of other things that our team will notice when we get to Louisville that will be, different and palpable, that we'll be able to feel. And add to that the fact that the Big Ten Conference made the commitment to hire Megan Kahn, a VP for women's basketball in the Big Ten Conference, whose sole purpose is to continue to grow our sport and Big Ten women's basketball and the brand of each of our programs, and highlight the tremendous players and coaches that we have in this league. I just think it's an incredibly special time to be a part of it. I feel incredibly proud of the growth that's being made, and really excited for the future for our athletes and for our future athletes.
As head coach Amy Williams earlier today, before the team departed, they have now officially landed in Louisville. They'll have a mandatory practice session and press gathering tomorrow at the Center in Louisville before they play Gonzaga on Friday afternoon, 2:30, 2:15 pregame coverage. This is not going to be an easy matchup for the Big Red. I mean, I know a lot of people love to look to the next round of the bracket, but this Gonzaga team is good. 26-6, 15-2 in their league. A couple of their losses are to BYU, who's also in the tournament. So this is going to be a challenge for the Cornhuskers, and you heard in her comments earlier about how good a rebounding team they are and some of the other things that they do well. So this will be a battle for the Big Red on Friday afternoon. Well, Bella Craven's play has really picked up as this season has gone along, and she's certainly a huge part of Nebraska's basketball team and has been the good part of this team for the last couple of years after transferring to Nebraska from Eastern Washington University. Before the Huskers departed, Jessica had a chance to catch up with Bella and her parents, Charlene and Mark, to talk about her growth as a person and as a basketball player.
Bella Cravens is the definition of the ultimate role player, willing to do whatever her team needs from her. Rebounding, defense, being a physical presence, and doing the dirty work inside the paint. And proud of the battle wounds she may sustain in the process. That's the Husker Bella. But young Bella, well, she would not have been so fond of a black eye or even battling on a basketball court at all.
Bella was a real girly girl. She liked getting her nails done.
Get her hair done, or Mom, let me try that makeup for you. Let me make sure it's the right shade for you.
I was self-proclaimed princess.
She had no desire to play sports, no sports whatsoever.
But she literally fought us on playing in these leagues.
I was the girl that only played basketball for the social aspect. All of my friends played, and that was the only thing that got me to practice.
It was more of a social hour for her.
I played basketball for the opportunities that it presented, but I don't know, there was always something in the back of my mind thinking like, I could love this game, I just need to be in the right setting.
And it just so happens that setting came in a place she'd been nowhere near before. After her sophomore year, Bella was looking to transfer, and after a lot of thought and prayer, made the decision to come to Nebraska, having never stepped foot in the state. Naturally, there was some initial hesitancy from her parents, who would not even be able to help Bella move due to the pandemic.
I was very worried, but I remember talking to Coach Tom several times and just really reminding him how this is my princess, and I need to know that she's there safely. I'm so grateful to him. He was very considerate in appeasing my mom, vibes, and assuring me that he'd received the package well and that she was in good hands. That really kind of put me at ease.
Just the people out here, especially the coaching staff, like my parents really trusted them with me, and they did not disappoint. They took care of me. They always made sure that I was okay.
What also did not disappoint is Bella's growth on the basketball court.
Naturally, she's a really good athlete. She's a natural athlete, I should say. But again, I thought she lacked the self-confidence in her play. We would try to tell her, Bella, just go to the basket. Being here, the 1 year, last year here at Nebraska, and it's just phenomenal, and I think her being happy here has also helped her blossom into a better player.
The development aspect from the coaching staff and everybody on the team constantly pushing me to do better and seeing what I can do and holding me to that standard. That's something that I've never really had before, and seeing it from not only the coaching staff, but seeing it from my own teammates has to be the biggest thing, is them seeing what I am capable of and holding me to that.
In December, Bella received her bachelor's degree in communications studies, and for the first time, her mom and dad, Charlene and Mark, were able to travel to Lincoln. Charlene was able to come back again for senior day, and both times packing her suitcase full of some Hawaiian aloha.
Lei giving is a sign of honor, it's respectful. The kukui nut lei was a sign of our friendship. We've now become a part of the Nebraska family. We're gonna honor everybody that's in that family. And I brought a ton of leis, so I was thinking I wanted to give to the announcers, to all the refs. I was just like, I'm ready. Let's just go lei everybody, all the parents. And Bella was like, that's a little much, Mom. It's a little too much aloha, but it is never too much aloha.
It's very comforting to know that I have that family aspect, not only for myself, but that they're so willing to accept my immediate family, my parents and my siblings, that they're just so open to that. And there's not only to my family, but like our culture and that kind of things. Everybody was so excited to get a lei. And my mom brought enough for everybody. But yeah, it's kind of just an act of love and our way of bringing that culture from home to everybody and getting to share that with them. And I think that they really enjoyed it, and we definitely enjoyed getting to share that with them.
The culture she grew up so familiar with in Hawaii is one of acceptance and of family, something she'd never expected to find in Nebraska. But because she has, not only is she playing a vital role for the Huskers, but thanks to the Huskers, Bella has discovered a love and appreciation for the game she never knew she had before Nebraska.
I have played on so many different teams growing up, but I've never played on one like this, where that everybody gets along and everybody is always there for each other, and it's genuine. Like, it's on and it's off the court. Everybody around is doing everything that they can to lift you up.
When they came to graduation, the whole team came and they sat right behind us. And they were just like having the time of their lives with each other, right? At this, and graduations aren't the most exciting thing. It's kind of boring. And they were just having a time of their life. And so I think this tight-knit group of these girls that they have a really good chemistry with each other. It's been awe-inspiring. It's just, Bella's very fortunate, very blessed to be here at Nebraska. I know this was her choice and they recruited her, but I mean, her decision to come here she's truly been blessed for it.
I was never super fond of the game, and it wasn't really, honestly, until I got here that I could see myself potentially loving it, because I've never really loved this game the way that everybody else does. But I think that honestly, playing with these girls and in this program and around like these people in front of these fans, it definitely has taught me that I can love this game.
We couldn't have wanted anywhere else for her to go. This has been the most perfect fit for her.
Yeah, it really has.
I'm just so grateful she's where she is, and she's blossoming. She's still blossoming. Like we said, she wasn't super serious about this game. She's not one of those girls that has had dreams, that spent so many hours in the gym perfecting her skill, but we knew she could get to her potential eventually, but I really believe that Nebraska is what brought it out. Yep. So we'll forever be grateful.
What a cool piece on Bella Cravens, and she, a big fan favorite here. And man, I love her parents. That's fantastic. Great to hear from both of them. Huskers again will play Friday, 2:30 in Louisville at the Center, opposite the Cardinals, who are the #1 seed in that region, and that will be the challenge if the Huskers can get by the Bulldogs on Friday afternoon. Our Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Phone lines open for you, 402-413-2400. We're back with more of the show coming up.
The bolder, the better. The 2022 Hyundai Sonata is reimagined with tech and safety features you want. With inspiring innovation and a bold new exterior, this is a sedan designed to be seen. Confidence comes standard when you shop Hyundai. You'll benefit from Hyundai Owner Assurance with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Visit Woodhouse Hyundai off 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhousehyundai.com during the Hyundai Getaway Sales event.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska researchers are designing the next generation of roadside steel barriers through an industry partnership with Trafix Devices. This partnership has produced the Delta Crash Cushion, a simplistic, effective way to keep drivers safe on highways. This barrier is vital for roadside safety and significantly improves the chances motorists will be able to walk away from roadside collisions.
He wants a screen, uses it from Cravens, dribbles, no look pass, deep left side. Widener will take a three in the corner. You betcha! Allison Widener with a triple off the assist from Shelley.
Get your dancing shoes, Nebraska fans, as the Huskers women's basketball team is off to Lexington, Kentucky to open their NCAA tournament. Game 1 against Gonzaga is this Friday at 2:30 p.m. with HRN pregame coverage starting at 2:15. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Darrell winds and deals. And a changeup is swung on and missed by Durazo. She's down on strikes and the inning is over. And Olivia Farrell has 10 strikeouts today. She has pitched a gem. Nebraska softball's spring break trip continues in Lawrence, Kansas Friday morning with matchups against Tulsa and South Dakota. Pre-game coverage at 9:50. First pitch at 10 on the Huskers Radio Network, Huskers.com, and the official Nebraska Athletics app.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Shop Woodhouse Ford first and experience the difference. The all-new 2022 F-150 is confidently capable and relentlessly tough. Equipped with features that allow you to work smarter and harder so you can get the job done faster. With 12 models to choose from, the F-150 was built to help you make the most of your work week or weekend. Shop, finance, and buy your way online at WoodhouseFord.com or one of our 3 convenient Ford locations.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul, not to mention their injury list. Cox, we're sports 24/7. Learn more at cox.com/sports.
Everyone knows that Dakota Mac is known for their great rates on long-term fixed ag real estate loans. But just how long-term are they? They're even longer-term than the silent treatment your mom gave you after she found out you backed over her peony bushes with the riding lawnmower. Even though it could have happened to anyone. Oof, talk about long-term.
Hi, it's Boyd Minry from Dakota Mac. Give me a call at 402-463-4637 to learn all about our competitive rates on 30-year fixed-rate loans.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. During the summer of 2021, 3 UNL students helped safeguard cattle across the state. Neely Anderson, Tatiana Jones, and Ashton Commons developed secure beef supply plans that prevent the spread of disease outbreak. The plans protect nearly 850,000 cattle across our state and provide greater economic security for this vital industry.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. It's the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. 402-413-2400. That's the number to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. as we are on the eve of this thing getting going. The NCAA tournament for the men tomorrow, 11 o'clock in the mornings, when it really gets cranked up with games all day long. You got the first four going on tonight on both the men's and women's side. The women started their first four tonight. The men, this is night number 2. You do have the Rutgers men playing a little bit later tonight against Notre Dame. That ought to be a pretty interesting game. Thought Indiana played well last night to beat a pretty good Wyoming bunch to move into the main field. They now have to, how about this? They finished that game, it was close to 11:30 Eastern time. I'm told that they headed right to the airport and had to fly to Portland overnight and try to get a little bit of sleep, and then had mandatory practices and press conferences today, and then they play tomorrow night. That's really kind of unfair, that long of a flight from there to Portland. That's cross country for the Hoosiers. So that was crazy that they had to do all of that. But the Hoosiers got a win, moved on. Can Rutgers beat Notre Dame? Then I don't like it. I like Rutgers' chance to beat the Irish in that game tonight. Hey, buckle up, put the phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Mentioned earlier in the hour that not only does the tournament get going tomorrow, but also the NCAA Wrestling Championships are tomorrow. Well, the next 3 days, rather, in Detroit. Session 1 begins at 11 a.m. You can watch coverage on that on ESPNU. Session 2 is tomorrow night at 6. ESPN2 will have full coverage of the NCAA Wrestling Championships in Detroit. 8 Husker wrestlers are going to be competing. 7 got the automatic bids for what they did at the Big Ten Championships, including Ridge Lovett at 149, Peyton Robb at 157, Bubba Wilson at 165, Mikey Labriola at 174, Tater Vance at 184, Eric Schultz, who I think has a chance to win the whole thing, at 197, and heavyweight Christian Lance. And Chad Redd got an at-large bid. Chad did not have a good Big Ten Championships at PBA 10 days ago, so I think he can bounce back and get after it. But those Husker wrestlers get going tomorrow. Again, Session 1, 11 a.m. on ESPNU. So those of you who love wrestling, I know there's a bunch of you out there, that's where you can find that tomorrow. Opposite college basketball on all those channels, right? True TV, TNT, TBS, CBS has all the channels for the NCAA men's tournament that gets going tomorrow afternoon. We wish all those Husker wrestlers good luck. I think Nebraska can do well. I think they can finish in the top 10 in the country. Going to need some good performances. But again, I think Eric Schultz has a real shot of being a national champion. That would be really cool if that ends up happening for him. Hey, Nebraska 811 says, go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. And our Sports Nightly hotline is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop finance and buy online at woodhouse.com. Going to take our final break of the hour. When we come back, Jessica will join us from Louisville.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Okay, let's get a photo of the bride and groom standing next to that giant mud puddle. Good. Now smile.
Oh, honey, don't look now, but you're covered in mud.
Oh, so is your white tux.
You know what this means, don't you?
Trucks and Bucks from the Nebraska Lottery is back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is the happiest day of my life. Don't you think we should head to the nearest Nebraska Lottery retailer?
I do.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Don't let the cold winter worry you. As Nebraska's leading supplier of propane, you can count on Sapp Brothers to keep your family warm this winter. You're like family. And your safety is the number one priority of Sap Brothers. When it comes to your propane needs, Sap Brothers has you covered. Visit www.sapbros.net/petroleum to find your local Sap Brothers propane expert. Celebrating 50 years of fueling America's heartland and welcoming guests, Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5's inviting interior and eye-catching exterior combine passenger comfort and driving pleasure. Equipped with standard all-wheel drive, the award-winning 2022 Mazda CX-5 creates confidence on your journey. The interior surrounds you with sophistication tailored to you. It's a CUV crafted for together. Shop the 2022 Mazda CX-5 by visiting one of our 2 convenient Woodhouse Mazda locations or shop online at woodhouse.com.
Buckle up, put the phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office, 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question here on a Wednesday night of Sports Alley. I'm in studio, and Jessica Coody has made her way to the accommodations for the Huskers team as they've made their way to Louisville. The flight has landed, and you're at the hotel, right? How was the trip over there?
Yeah, it was good. It was quick and easy, but we had to wait at the airport in Lincoln for a little bit because, you know, the NCAA schedules all these planes and flights, and these planes are flying all over for both the men's and the women's teams going all across the country for this tournament. And so the plane that we were actually on flew the Texas men's team to Milwaukee. So it was delayed a little bit once it finally got to Lincoln, had to refuel and all of that. So we made good time once we got in the air, but we had to wait a little bit in Lincoln. But we got here, and the team has arrived, and they practiced in Lincoln this morning before. So just dinner and to bed tonight, and then they'll get up tomorrow and have their first practice. Well, only practice inside the KFC Yum Center. It's going to be awkward to say, right? Tomorrow morning before, final practice, final preparations before they'll tip things off. Just kind of a little bit different being that, you know, at the Big Ten, they played at night. So there was a lot of day to fill. So they had a couple of shoot-arounds, and they had practice at night. But for this trip, they're just got practice tomorrow about 1 o'clock, and then actually going to the zoo tomorrow as a team activity. So a little bit different setup as the Big Ten, but it seemed like they're ready to go. They're excited, and I can't wait.
We played earlier your piece with Bella Cravens and her parents. What a great piece. You did a good job with that. And Bella, I know, is really one of the more popular players on this team, isn't she?
Yeah, she absolutely is. And, you know, I just thought it was so interesting kind of getting to talk to her and hear her story, because most of the time you got to really love this game. We talked about it last night about how with football and basketball, I mean, it is a year-round grind now. You know, it is not much time off. They practice pretty much year-round and working out and all of that. And so, you know, she's learned to love the game because of the opportunities, but also she really loves it because of the team that she's playing with here. So I thought it was fascinating to talk to her, but she's that role player that, you know, and you always hear coaches talk about how important it is for a team, for everybody to accept their roles, whatever that role may be. And she's definitely one of those, and everybody on this team has, that's for sure. That's why they've been able to put the season together that they have.
Well, in fact, Carla on our text line said, great piece on Bella, excellent interview. I really have been impressed and enjoy hearing how close the women's team is, really both in volleyball and women's basketball. We'll talk more Gonzaga tomorrow, but I do want your initial reaction. We did have a clip from Amy Williams early in the hour. I think they've got Nebraska's full attention. This looks like a pretty good basketball team that Nebraska's going to face on Friday.
No doubt about it. Assistant Coach Tom Gailey sat in front of me in front of the plane, and he has the scout. And, you heard Amy Williams actually mention it, that they're a veteran team and they don't make mistakes. They're very disciplined, but they crash the boards hard. And so it's going to be a matter of will. And, they don't panic when they get behind. And it's just a team that's played a lot of ball together. And so a little bit opposite in that fact, but it is interesting that it's pretty balanced scoring team, kind of like the Huskers, but the Huskers score a lot more points than the Gonzaga does, because Gonzaga is kind of known for what they do defensively and on the glass, and so it'll definitely be a tough matchup. But I think, again, the way that this team handled the Big Ten tournament and get a little taste of what it takes to prep with short notice and turn right around and do it again. I think they're completely focused. They absolutely have Gonzaga's attention, but they're not here just to be here. That's for sure.
Jessica, a lot of times you get to this point in time and a lot of teams are beat up, banged up. I don't get the sense that's an issue with Nebraska. I think this is a fairly healthy team. That's pretty rare in March, but unless I'm missing something, it looks like this is a healthy group getting ready to play this tournament.
It really is. Ani Stewart is one that kind of was nursing back from her back, but she played some big minutes at the Big Ten tournament. Every single player that I talk to, because sometimes it's different. You have players have different feels for. They'd rather keep playing. You and I talked about, what I think it was last week about having that whole week off. If it was good, if it was bad. Some teams carry that momentum into March Madness, but I get a sense for this team, they needed that week off. They needed the week to recuperate, recover from a tough Big Ten schedule and then the Big Ten tournament. But then also they got to go back and work on them a little bit and just focus on things that they needed to work on and not so much preparing for an opponent. So it seems like, and we'll see how they come out of the gate, but it seems like to me that week off after the Big Ten tournament was good for this team.
Well, I know it was a fairly good-sized travel party. I think maybe even had some band members and cheerleaders on the plane as well that'll be there to support the Huskers.
Yes, the band is here, and both cheerleaders and the Scarlets. I told Herbie to not make the trip, so no Herbie, but we will be have plenty of representation of support here in the crowd, and I'll be interested to see how many fans make it out. So I know the Markowskis are coming. They told me at Selection Sunday they'll be making it out, so I'm sure and Ronnie and Jane Green were on the flight as well, so they're here to support too.
Oh, no doubt. You couldn't keep Jane away from this game at all. Crypto wants to know what the weather's like in Louisville.
It's nice right now, but I think it might be chilly and rainy as we go along throughout this weekend. But right now, it's nice.
Very good. Okay, well, we'll let you get settled. I got a couple of guests in the 7. We'll bring you back and talk more about this later on in the 7. Get yourself settled. I know you just ran in the hotel and jumped on with us here at the top of the hour. We appreciate that, but we'll let you get settled and talk with you later in the 7 if that's okay.
All right, sounds good.
There she is, Jessica Coody with the Huskers team in Louisville. They just arrived within the last 30 minutes at their hotel. Again, they'll have that mandatory practice and press conference settings tomorrow as they get ready to take on the Bulldogs coming up on Friday, 2:30 again. Tip-off, 2:15 pregame coverage here on the network. And Crypto's got a great idea. He goes, Jessica could dress up as Herbie and nobody would know. I mean, why not? Put that costume on. That'd be fun. Hey, the Sports Idling Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy it online at woodhouse.com. 1 hour in the books. When we come back, Jake Muehlheisen will join us. We'll get a peek at his bracket. Who's he like in the men's side, and what's he think is what's ahead for Husker men's basketball? That's coming up on the other side.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
The 2022 Mazda CX-9's refined performance and signature design make this 7-passenger CUV a cut above. Enjoy the inviting cabin where every passenger's comfort was a consideration. While experiencing Mazda's holistic approach to driving, the 2022 Mazda CX-9 is crafted for connection to the driver, passenger, and the journey. It's a CUV crafted for together. Shop the 2022 Mazda CX-9 by visiting one of our 2 convenient Woodhouse Mazda locations or shop online at woodhouse.com.
In a world where fun and cash prizes collide, one game explodes to the forefront. Cash Blast from the Nebraska Lottery. Non-stop excitement, a winning thrill ride, and starring you. Until April 12th, play 2x2 weekly for a chance to win $5,000 or $500. And if your ticket was a 7-day draw, your prize is doubled. Don't miss it. Cash Blast playing at a lottery retailer near you. 2x2 top prize odds 1 in 105,000.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. The university has a new undergraduate business and law major. Students majoring in business and law are learning to use legal knowledge to better solve business challenges. They are also gaining skills in regulatory compliance, financial services, securities regulation, and corporate social responsibility. Upon graduation, they will boost the state's talent pool in these critical areas of expertise.
Keep yourself and your loved ones healthy by getting your free COVID-19 vaccine. Plus, when you get a COVID-19 vaccine at your Hy-Vee pharmacy between February 1st and April 30th, you can get a 50-cent Hy-Vee Fuel Saver reward. Talk about savings. Schedule your COVID-19 vaccination appointment today at Hy-Vee.com/COVID vaccine. Some restrictions apply. See pharmacy for more details.
Welcome inside the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. Welcome into a beautiful Wednesday evening here at the Huskers Radio Network. Earlier today, Huskers Baseball took on New Mexico State, and it was Efrain Cervantes who walked it off after completing a Huskers comeback with this play in the bottom of the ninth.
Bustamante comes set. And the pitch. Fastball hits into right field. Base hit. Huskers win the game. Efrain Cervantes just served it into right field. Matthews scores. Huskers have rallied to win it 6-5.
Huskers reliever Braxton Bragg steadied the ship after having to enter the game early, pitching 4 innings, surrendering just 1 earned run. Cam Chick sparked the rally in the 8th with a 2-run home run, his 2nd homer of the year. And you just heard Efrain Cervantes completed that win with the walk-off in dramatic fashion in the 9th. The Big Red will continue their homestand and seeks to extend its win streak on Friday at 6:35 p.m. right here at the Haymarket Park when they welcome Texas A&M Corpus Christi for a 3-game weekend series. HRN pregame coverage will begin at 6 p.m. As March Madness ramps up, the Huskers women's basketball team is in Lexington, Kentucky today. You heard from Bella Cravens and Amy Williams earlier in the first hour. You heard from Jessica Coody, who's there with the team. Tip-off for Friday's broadcast. The game itself is at 2:30 p.m. Our pregame coverage on the Huskers Radio Network will begin at 2:15. Huskers track and field athlete Berger Lambrechts Jr. capped an outstanding indoor track and field season by being named the Big Ten Athlete of the Year today. Lambrechts Jr. had a strong showing at the NCAA Indoor Championships last weekend, finishing 4th in the shot put, recording a season-best throw of 67.5. He earned first-team All-America honors, the 4th All-America accolade of his career. He is the first Husker ever to win both the Big Ten Men's Field Athlete of the Championships and Big Ten Athlete of the Year, and now ranks 2nd in Huskers men's shot put history. We have first fours wrapping up today on the men's side. Right now it's Bryant and Wright State, and they're in the second half. And in that one, it is Wright State up 60-51. And at 8:10 p.m., it'll be Notre Dame taking on Rutgers in the West region. Over to the women's side, Incarnate Word and Howard are just underway in the Greensboro region. Actually, that's one's approaching halftime in that contest. And later tonight, also in the Greensboro region, it'll be DePaul taking on Dayton at 8 p.m. Lastly, NFL free agency in full swing. Von Miller signing a 6-year, $120 million contract with the Buffalo Bills earlier today. It's $51 million guaranteed in that contract. He's the only player in NFL history on the defensive side of the ball to have 2 $100 million contracts. That's the ticker. My name is Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
9 wins in the last 12 as Andrews lost this one. Deep right field, sweet all the way back, and it's gone! Home run, Billy Andrews! Her 14th home run of the year, and it's 5-0 Nebraska in the top of the 6th.
The 1-1 pitch to Everett. Griffin swings, and it's a high fly to right. Backing up is Goldston. He's to the track. He's to the wall. He jumps, and it is gone. A 2-homer day for Griffin Everett. And the Huskers do have their first lead at 5-3.
Farrell's 3-1, swinging a ground ball to short. Andrews to her left. Deflects it right to Ibarra, standing on the bag at second for the force out of Hernandez to finish off the 7-inning complete game shutout for Farrell, the first in her career.
Griffin drills one to right center field. Long run for the Outfitters, and nobody's going to get there. It's going to score Anderson, and the Huskers are going to walk the Mavericks off here today. Nebraska wins it 6-5 to claim their home opener. What a day for Griffin Everett. He gets 4 hits, including the game winner with a double to the right center field gap.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are back, hour number 2, Sports Nightly on a Wednesday night. Jessica's going to join us a little bit later on in the hour from Louisville. The Husker women's team just arrived at their hotel about 6:30 our time. Their flight departed Lincoln around 4 o'clock. Again, tomorrow they'll have a mandatory practice at the Center along with a press conference, and then get ready for that 2:30 game on Friday against the Bulldogs of Gonzaga. The men's tournament will get going tomorrow. Actually, the first 4 last night and tonight, but the main bulk of it gets cranked up tomorrow, 11 a.m. for that, and it will be wall-to-wall basketball. It's also St. Patty's Day. I mean, I can't get much bigger than that. I'm going to talk to Jake Muehlheisen here in just a couple of minutes. Later on in the hour, Mike Babcock will join us. we're going to reminisce about the late, great Charlie Green, who passed away earlier this week. But let's start the hour with Jake Muehlheisen jumping on board with us. We talked to him in Indy last week. Have you recovered? How is your postseason? What do you do? Do you just kind of unplug yourself? Do you have a routine every March when it kind of ends?
Well, Greg, not really. I unplug from basketball and go right to my day job and start doing that. So just going to the office. And then kids are on spring break right now, and as you mentioned, St. Patty's Day tomorrow. It's the best time of year by far.
Will you lock yourself into the tournament, or do you just kind of wait and pick and see games? How do you do it now that you're around college basketball so much from November to March? Some guys like to just kind of push away and say, I've had enough for a while.
No, not at all. I love watching games. I'm watching the Bryant-Wright State game right now, the play-in games, and the first weekend of March Madness is just a ton of fun. You get together with some buddies and have a few green beers and watch a lot of games. And there's no way you can't watch it just because the history of the tournament, some big shots and upsets and whatnot. It's just a ton of fun to watch.
Well, the AP All-American teams came out today, Jake, and you and Kent got to see most of these guys play. I mean, 3 Big Ten guys on the first team All-American, and Johnny Davis from Wisconsin, Kofi from Illinois, and then Keegan Murray from Iowa. I mean, goodness gracious. You guys saw some of the best players in the country all season long.
Yeah, we did. We were fortunate to be up close and watch a lot of good players. And, obviously my favorite of the bunch is Keegan Murray, just his versatility. But you see the players and the teams in the Big Ten and what that conference has done, to get 9 teams into the tournament. So it wasn't a huge surprise to see 3 guys get first team All-American, but there's plenty of talented guys in the league. And Ken, we had first row seats to watch them, and it was a pleasure to watch those guys compete. And hopefully one of these days we'll have a first team All-American on the Nebraska team.
No doubt. You also saw Jaden Ivey. He was a second team, and you saw Jabari Smith from Auburn. He was also a second team, and E.J. Liddell from Ohio State was on the third team. So you guys are the first top 15 players in the country. You saw half of them up close and personal. Indiana wins last night. Rutgers plays tonight. How do you think the league's going to fare, Jake, in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I hope they fare well. I know they didn't play particularly well last year in the tournament, so hopefully the Big Ten is well represented. And Indiana got it done last night. And Rutgers' Notre Dame game will be interesting. I know with Steve Peichel, they'll try to muck it up against Notre Dame a little bit, but I think with how the Big Ten is made up and the teams that are in the tournament, I think they'll fare well. I think the most interesting game and looking at the bracket is that Michigan-Colorado State game. I think that was going to be a lot of fun to watch. Michigan obviously had a lot of talk getting in and that large bid, a lot of controversy between them and A&M, but I think the Big Ten will play well and hopefully represent the league and how good this conference really is.
I do too, although I look at the bracket that I filled out. I don't have one getting to the Final Four. Am I all wet? I don't have one team in the league.
What are you doing that for? I'm so biased when I fill out the bracket. I have Purdue winning it all just because of their size down low that a lot of teams don't see a whole lot of. Obviously, when you're in the Big Ten in conference play, you kind of see that and know how to adjust to it. But the size of Edie and Williams down low and then Jaden Ivey and their three-point shooting ability as a team, I picked Purdue to win it all. So I don't know how good of a pick that is, but I'm a Big Ten homer, and I picked them to win it.
Well, I've got them getting punched out by Kentucky in the Sweet 16. I like Gonzaga, and I know that they came so close a year ago in the Final Four. I love their style of play. I think Kansas is going to be a tough out in the Midwest region because they get to play pretty close to home for their games going through. And I really like Arizona's team. I don't get to watch them a lot, but when I do, I'm usually really impressed.
Yeah, I am too. And those West Coast teams, we just don't get to watch a whole lot of. I've watched Gonzaga play a little bit. I think it'd be cool if they won it with a Nebraska kid on there with Hunter Salas. Always cheering for those guys, but I just haven't had a chance to watch Arizona a lot. My good pal Nick Baugh, he's seen a lot of games too. He said that's the best team he's seen in person, so I trust his judgment. So I have them going to the Final Four. But I for whatever reason, I watched a lot of SEC sitting in hotel rooms in Tennessee. I watched a lot of, and they've been playing really good as of late, winning the SEC tournament. So they have a chance to make some noise in this year's tourney.
Yeah, I've got Tennessee, Arizona in an Elite Eight matchup. I'm with you. Rick Barnes, I've always liked Rick Barnes. I've always thought he was a classy guy. I thought he had a really good run at Texas. I'm sure they got tired of him. He probably got tired of those guys as well, and he went off to Tennessee, but he's doing well there. Again, visiting with Jake Muehlheisen here of the Huskers Radio Network. Let's switch gears and talk about the coming weeks for the Huskers. I think we're kind of all anticipating, Jake, that Bryce McGowens is going to make an announcement to go pro. Am I off on that, or is that the way you think this is going for Bryce?
No, I would assume that he's going to announce that he's going to enter the draft, and I think that something would have to happen in the workouts for him to withdraw his name, come back to Nebraska, just because he's projected in the first round everywhere I've looked, and I think he will play well in those workouts just with his length and athleticism. I think he will go to those workouts and really impress. And I know he didn't exactly shoot the ball great when he was here, but I think in those workouts he'll excel. And when you play in a Hoiberg system, you're prepared. You saw that happen with Delano Banton last year, where Delano goes in as an undrafted, wasn't projected to get drafted, works his way up in the draft, gets picked second, and has a good spot on the Raptors. So these guys will be well prepared for the combine, and we'll see what Bryce can do. But I would love to see him back in the Nebraska uniform. I just don't think that's realistic.
What about his brother? Any chance you think that Trey comes back?
Man, I hope so. I think he's a guy that would obviously really help the team next year. We can get a core group of guys to come back, and Trey being that leader on defense, and he really started to play well offensively too. So he could somehow come back. I think his athleticism, his leadership at that guard position could really help next year's team, just as a culture guy, and just get some continuity at that guard position.
Visiting in with Jake Muehlheisen of the Huskers Radio Network. The other one that I think a lot of fans would love to have back, and I think Coach Hoiberg would too, and that would be Derek Walker. Where do you come down on that? Can you see Derek coming back for one more year of college hoops?
I think I could. The strange thing about him, and it's been well documented and talked about, is that Derek's going to be 25, so he's the old guy on the team. It just depends if he wants to spend another year in college. But I think, like similar to Trey, if he wants to come back, Coach Hoiberg and crew will welcome him back with open arms and have him down low with what he did this year, shooting his percentage that he did, and really became a stable force and could go down on the block to him to get some easy baskets. And then defensively, he always played hard. So you can have a guy like that in the front court. I think that'd be a huge return if we could get him.
Do you think in Coach Hoiberg's office the top line might say we got to get a point guard? Is that the biggest need in your eyes?
I think so. I think the point guard is just so important, not only on Hoiberg's team, but any college basketball team. And you'll see that in the tournament. Teams with good point guard play, they're the ones that really have success. So in Hoiberg's system, you got to have that. And you saw when Alonzo Verge this year was playing well and playing that true point guard mentality, that's when Nebraska played well. And that's what we need. We need a true point guard that puts pressure on defense, can push the tempo, and then they find open guys to start and then take their scoring opportunities when they present themselves. So I think that's the top of the, if you want to call it his number one draft pick, he's going there and going, I need a point guard, and whether it be a high school kid or a transfer, that's their top priority for next year's team.
And we've heard from several athletes on campus about how advanced Nebraska is in the NIL planet, and I think the McGowens have taken advantage of that in their time here in Lincoln and getting some extra money from companies that get them to speak on their behalf. Where do you come down on this? I really want your thoughts on this, because you're a former college athlete. This wasn't available to you when you played. This is, to me, a whole different game that we're now in, a whole different kind of environment with college sports. Do we need guardrails on this thing? Where do you think this thing is right now?
It's really interesting to look at, and like you mentioned, I didn't have that when I was playing, but these kids, they put in so much time to the program, and they work their tails off, and for them to have that opportunity, I think it's I think it's right to give them that opportunity, but I think there has to be some sort of parameters. And I say that simply because you compare it to the pros, whether it be NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball, where they have salary caps, and right now any team can basically, or any college, they can get anything they want. So you hear all the rumors about A&M football, their recruiting class getting somewhere close to $30 million. There's no way to prove that, but you just hear all these rumors flying around. So how do you how do you make it a level playing field across college athletics? So that's the main thing that I don't like about it, is just the haves will become more successful and the have-nots won't. But I think the guys, with what they do and the work they put in, they deserve to kind of reap the benefit from it.
Well, good stuff. Enjoy tomorrow. Do you have any Irish blood in the family?
I don't, but I will definitely have some green beers and some corned beef and cabbage tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Jake, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great work all season long with KP, and we'll leave you alone for a while and let you catch your breath.
Well, sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
There he is, Jake Muehlheisen, joining us on our Woodhouse Auto Family Sports Nightly hotline. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Need to step aside, get a break in. When we come back, Mike Babcock of Hail Varsity will be here. We're going to talk about the late, great Charlie Green, who passed away earlier this week, the first gold medalist in Nebraska history. Amazing track athlete and meant a lot to the Lincoln community and to UNL and his wonderful life. We'll look back at him coming up next.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself. That's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
There's always a reason to celebrate, and we are at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair during the Jeep Celebration event. From the legendary 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee to the redesigned new Jeep Compass, Jeep carries a lineup of capable SUVs built for modern adventures on and off-road. Don't miss out. Shop now during the Jeep Celebration event in-store in Blair or online at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
Here is a before winter to-do list from J-Tech Construction. Let's start with windows. Triple pane window technology has saved homeowners countless dollars on heating and cooling bills. Siding serves a crucially important purpose, protecting your home and insulating it from adverse weather conditions. And don't forget about your roof. Designing your roof should be simple and painless, and J-Tech offers several payment plan options. One more thing on your to-do list, call J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Is your business's data cabling outdated? Do you need help with fiber optic cabling projects? Give Kidwell a call. Kidwell doesn't just help you handle today's demands, they help you see beyond, making sure that every component works in unison to meet the demands of your growing business. Kidwell keeps your connections clearly labeled and organized, maximizes performance, and saves time when any maintenance or service is needed. Don't settle for patchwork quick fixes. Make Kidwell your technology partner. Visit KidwellInc.com. That's KidwellInc.com.
There's nothing better than the smoky aroma of grilled beef at the ballpark. This is Anne Marie with the Nebraska Beef Council reminding you to pick up a package of steaks or burgers for your next tailgate party. Whether you're setting up in the parking lot or cheering from home, nutritious beef is a home run choice when cheering on the Huskers. Visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com for delicious beef recipes, grilling tips, and tailgate inspirations. Beef, it's what's for dinner in Nebraska.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. It's the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe with you here on Sports Night. Jessica will join me in the next segment, but delighted to welcome on board the program Mike Babcock of Hale Varsity, also used to write for the Lincoln Journal-Star. Great to have him here with us in mid-March. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How about them Huskers today, huh?
That was fun. That was a really, in fact, all week's been kind of fun. Watching them pull a couple of games out in the ninth inning, it always has built some confidence, I think, for this team. You've got to be delighted that the major league guys have finally got a contract settled, and they're going to have some baseball in the big leagues this year.
Yeah, that's going to be that's a big relief, actually. Now we got to get all the players sorted out as to where they're going to end up. Some of these guys, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting Major League season.
You are a National League guy, big Giants fan. Where do you come down on no DH or having the DH now put into the National League?
Oh, I thought it was inevitable. I guess because I'm old. I'd like to see it the other way, but I thought it was inevitable, and it probably makes the game a little bit more appealing to a younger generation.
Well, we lost a Husker legend earlier this week, Mike, and we wanted to get you on to talk about Charlie Green, who had an amazing career not only in Nebraska but on the world stage, a world record holder at one time in the sprints, won the first gold medal for a Husker athlete. When you hear that name and think back about his time, what comes to mind?
Well, I was a sophomore at the university when he was competing there, and you know, if you were in Charlie's time, you knew about Charlie Green, and I always thought that, you know, he was a tremendous sprinter, and he was also a big personality. 5'8", but he was a big personality, and you know, he wore those sunglasses. That was kind of his signature thing, and he called them heat shields or reentry shields, and he always had those glasses on. And the other thing I remember is, now I never saw this, so it may just be a story that went around. But suppose the story was that Charlie, when he was a freshman and Bob Brown was finishing off his career at Nebraska and finishing his degree, they hung together. So here you got Bob Brown, who's 6'4" and about 256 pounds, hanging around with 5'8" Charlie Green, and they drive around in a convertible. That's what I heard, and they were very unique personalities, I guess would be the way to present it. But yeah, if you were around at that time and you paid attention to sports, which I did. My uncle was the equipment manager at the university from 1965 to 1977, so he got to know Charlie, and and so I heard stories about Charlie, and you read about him. I mean, you had to know because he was such a talented athlete. As we saw after he finished at Nebraska, he was also a strong personality and a good person.
He was a member of that '68 Olympic team that went to Mexico City, and obviously that was that was a huge statement that the African American athletes made in those games. He was a part of the 4x100 relay team that won gold. How do you think that impacted him?
Well, like I said, when he finished, he was involved in a lot of things that promoted that kind of mindset after he got done with athletics and in the military, and then he came back to the university and he was involved in things that were inclusive, and I just think that it was just an extension of his personality. He won the gold in the 4x100 meters relays, and he won bronze in the 100 meters. And during that race, he had a hamstring issue that, if not for that, he probably would have won the 100 meters. And I don't really remember whether which came first. Whether he had the hamstring thing and then he ran in the relay anyway, or whatever. That would be Charlie. But it just it gave him an opportunity. I think put him on a stage, and that was the year that Tommy Smith and whatever made their statement at the Mexico City Olympics. But I think, again, Charlie, we don't remember him just for what he accomplished as an athlete. That's how we first got familiar with him. But we remember him for the person that he was after that as well.
Busy with Mike Babcock from Hale Varsity talking about Charlie Green, who passed away Monday at the age of 76. Member of the Nebraska's first Sports Hall of Fame class in 2015. Why do you think this place meant so much to him, Mike? I mean, I know he left Nebraska for a while and did some work, but then came back and was part of the university. And even some of his best friends said this was a really special place to him, Nebraska and Lincoln for him. Why do you think that was?
That's tough for me to explain. I mean, I grew up in Nebraska. I'm a Nebraskan. I don't think I could ever leave the state. I just wouldn't feel comfortable there. So I don't know how that might affect somebody who came from. He went to high school in Seattle.
Right.
Came here. Frank Savine was the coach. Frank Savine was a character himself. Maybe it was partly that. Maybe it was partly the success. Maybe it was partly the atmosphere. There weren't a lot of people of color on campus at the time, and if they were, chances are they were probably involved in athletics somehow. But it was just his personality, I think, wanting to make a difference, why he came back and was involved in things here, because he had the comfort level of having gotten his degree and gone through that experience in track and field. He finished his degree after that, so that's the only thing that I could say, because again, my perspective is probably skewed because I see Nebraska as a great place.
There's even rumors that when on his answering machine, he would say, "No one's home, go Big Red." So this place just meant an awful lot to Charlie. Arguably, Mike, he's probably one of the top 5 or 10 athletes of all time at this university. I mean, when you've been a world record holder and a gold medalist, that's got to put you in pretty rarefied air, I would think, for the history of this athletic department.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I think that's true. I think, sometimes there's a tendency to look at it and think that football defines everything at Nebraska. Certainly, I wouldn't dispute that in a lot of ways. But yeah, I would put him in the elite category. And someone suggested on Twitter today, I saw that there should be a statue in the new track facility with Charlie Green, and in parentheses, and I would take the parentheses out, Merlin Ottey, who was incredible athlete at Nebraska, and made the long journey here from Jamaica to be the success that she was. So yeah, that's probably a good idea there. Statues for Charlie and Merlene.
Yep, she was an Olympian.
Much better than that.
A decade or so after Charlie made his splash, she sure did as well, and really, and I'm sure Marlene will get honored as we get to the 50th anniversary of Title IX coming up here this summer and this upcoming year. Well, you mentioned the Husker baseball team. Are you encouraged by what you've seen the last couple of days? Where do you think this group's headed?
Well, gritty beats pretty, right? The thing, I guess, unlike a lot of people, the success that the Huskers had last year, and then you get in this mindset that, hey, it's going to be just like that from the get-go in 2022, and you tend to block out, the guys that they lost. I mean, Hallmark and Schwellenbach and Roscom and Hagee and Acker and Povich and Roach. I mean, they lost a lot of really talented guys, and you don't just turn things around, I think, when you lose that quality of those players. And maybe I didn't acknowledge that either, so that it becomes a work in progress. And I think that we've seen some of that grit here in the last couple of days. I think they're going to continue to develop, but you got some young pitchers and you got some guys that haven't had a lot of opportunity to do some things, and you've got to give them time to develop into the players that we know we're going to be, that they're going to be at some point. But I was in the mindset that things were going to be better at this point from a record standpoint than they are. But then I look back at it. I've been looking back at it a little bit, and it's like, wait a minute. They really lost some really talented guys, and you don't just flip that around and start with a lot of young guys again and expect things to go your way. This is a good boost to your morale and to your mindset. That's the important thing. Because it's such a fine line between being where you want to be, being successful, and being on the other side of that line. And I think that this is going to help get on the right side of the line and get things going. But it's going to be a scrap. And then you compare Nebraska. Maybe the non-conference schedule is a little bit more challenging than some of the other Big Ten teams have played to this point. But again, mindset, you got to win. You got to get in that winning mentality, have that expectation. I think they're still going in that direction.
Last couple of days have been fun. Mike, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Happy St. Patty's Day to you and your family.
Hey, same to you, and thanks for having me on. Be safe.
You bet. Mike Babcock with us from Hill Varsity, talking and reminiscing about Charlie Green, who passed away on Monday at the age of 76. Mike joined us on our Sports Sunday Hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Jessica will rejoin me next from Louisville.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today we're tackling the issue of GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. GMOs may sound scary, but they're actually benefiting our environment and consumers. That's because GMO crops help solve specific problems like insects, food waste, and droughts. By selecting good traits from one plant or organism and adding them to another, farmers are safely using science to produce high-quality foods better than ever before. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Momentum. It's building at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. With game-changing work in precision agriculture, nanoscience, and digital humanities. We're unlocking mysteries in brain research, solving the impossible with remote surgery using robots. And we're creating bold futures with world-leading research in early childhood education. We don't slow down, and we're not letting up. We are Nebraska.
He wants a screen, uses it from Cravens, dribbles, no look pass, deep left side. Widener will take a three in the corner. You betcha! Allison Widener with a triple off the assist from Shelley.
Get your dancing shoes, Nebraska fans, as the Huskers women's basketball team is off to Lexington, Kentucky to open their NCAA tournament. Game 1 against Gonzaga is this Friday at 2:30 p.m. with HRN pregame coverage starting at 2:15. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today's topic, animal agriculture. There's been a lot of talk suggesting that giving up meat is good for the environment. However, livestock emissions only account for less than 4% of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, by reducing meat in your diet, you're missing out on all sorts of beneficial nutrients like protein, iron, and zinc. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he's so cold. The furnace is out again. But wait, he sees an opening. SOS! SOS, he screams and calls 391-2336. SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer. Boy, he made the right call today as SOS is already on the way. SOS is your trustworthy company since 1950, and with Luxair, you get free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. Call 391-2336 or visit soshvac.com today.
Okay, let's get a photo of the bride and groom standing next to that giant mud puddle. Good. Now smile.
Oh, honey, don't look now, but you're covered in mud.
Oh, so is your white tux.
You know what this means, don't you?
Trucks and Bucks from the Nebraska Lottery is back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is the happiest day of my life. Don't you think we should head to the nearest Nebraska Lottery retailer?
I do.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
2-2 pitch. That ball's hit well into left center field. That's going to drop in there for a base hit. Coming around to score is Griffin Everett. Core Jackson on his way to second, and he's got an RBI double. It's 6-2.
Huskers Baseball will close out their 3-game home series against the Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders this Sunday at 12:05 p.m. Pre-game coverage begins on the Huskers radio network at 11:30 a.m. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Osborne.
And I'm Coach Frost.
Statistics prove that youth who are mentored and receive support and guidance from a caring adult show measurable improvement in academic achievement, motivation to succeed, and hope.
Over the past 30 years, Teammates has served more than 43,000 youth, and right now there are more than 1,000 waiting for a Teammates mentor to visit with them once a week in school.
For more information on how you can help the Teammates Mentoring Program, please go to teammates.org, and thank you for supporting our youth.
Sponsored by Nebraska Crossing Fast Cash app.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. That's the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe in studio. Jessica Coody rejoins us from Louisville, Kentucky. That's where the Husker women are tonight. They landed about almost 2 hours ago, and they'll get ready for a practice and media session tomorrow and ready to take on Gonzaga on Friday, 2:30, 2:15 for pregame coverage here. Does the Coody family have their kind of own little bracket challenge? Do you have bragging rights within the family?
You know, we used to, but we haven't done it in a while. Since my brother refs, Division I basketball, and he doesn't do the tournament, but we haven't really done it. Because you know how it is working with the university, if you work with teams or in the NCAA, you're not supposed to do any of that kind of stuff.
Well,
but,
you can't do it for money. You can do it for fun.
Oh, yeah. No, they wouldn't want to take me on. They just know I'd win, so.
I kind of thought that maybe where you're. How do you come down on conference cheering this time of year? This is always kind of a fun topic. Do you cheer for the teams?
Greg, I'm not cheering for Michigan.
You're out on them.
I don't know. I mean, I've never been one that kind of gets into that, but I guess it is always good for the conference and bragging rights. And I think for me, where I'll be really rooting for the conference is with the women's side. I mean, I think the men's Big Ten have kind of established themselves, obviously, year in and year out as one of the toughest leagues, if not the toughest league. But I think, with the women, I think they deserve a little bit more respect. And I think if they could, win some games as a conference and all advance and do some damage, it could maybe help get some of those teams that are on the bubble, like a Northwestern. It might help Nebraska's seeding in the future. And if, this kind of situation arises for another team in the Big Ten. So I do think it's good for the conference to go represent themselves. I think the women need to do some more damage than the men.
I do think that's a fair point. I do think if conferences have a really good year after year in the tournament, I do think the committee, I think that's in the back of their mind when they do seeding. I think they think, well, okay, that league's pretty good and they've been good. If you're not, I think that probably works against you. I think it's a really fair point. A couple of questions for you. Crypto wants to know if you have found the Herbie outfit, and why couldn't you be Herbie this weekend?
If I would have known that I think Herbie might have been booked elsewhere. I don't know where Herbie is, but if Herbie, I could have done it. I would have done it. I would have just taken off the hat and done my interviews, or maybe even interviewed people. Except I don't think mascots are supposed to talk, so I had to figure that out. But I would have been Herbie if I needed to be.
I think there's probably a handful of people that were on your flight that could handle that job if they chose to do that. John in Omaha on our text line wants to know if the snacks on an NCAA flight are a little bit nicer than in coach on a regular flight. Wondering if you get more than 4 pretzels and a half a can of pop.
They do. They had some good snacks running through there, and then right when we landed, they had the team meal ready, and so they take care of teams when you're traveling for the NCAA tournament. Boy, in the football team, that thing stays constant food going up and down the aisles.
Yeah,
especially
it
on the way home.
Naps. I get woken up on my nap. Hey, do you want some cheese, or do you want something else that's coming up and down?
You want some grapes? You want some ice cream sandwiches? You want a hamburger? It's crazy.
Well, I'm a sucker for the ice cream. If it's ice cream, I'll wake up and grab one of those.
Same.
That's a given there for that. Jessica Coody in Louisville. Huskers will work out tomorrow, have another press gathering tomorrow, and the lights always shine brighter this time of year, and I don't think that's going to be an issue for this team. And I know they don't have a lot of experience in this tournament, but I don't think that kind of stuff phases this group, does it?
I was trying to think about that earlier too, just the fact that Gonzaga is a little bit older team, and for the fact that Nebraska, other than Jazz, doesn't have anybody with any experience in the NCAA tournament. They haven't done it together, but it's just such a well-connected group. I mean, you heard Bella talking about it earlier and I have a hard time explaining to people too, because I've never been around a team like this. They're just so connected, and they're just focused on each other, and they just don't let the outside get to them much, and they kind of stay focused on what they got to do. And I was chatting with Tom Gailey about the scout, and I think obviously Gonzaga is absolutely going to be a tough test, but I do think there's maybe some areas where Nebraska can take advantage of. Their bigs don't necessarily like to guard on the perimeter as much. So with Alexis Markowski and Izzy Bourne, both can step outside, and even Ani Stewart step outside and knock down some threes. That could really open some things up for this team. So, they just need to keep doing what they've been doing and, play with confidence. I don't think that they will let this moment get bigger than what it is. I think, this team is grounded and solid and together, and it's just, they don't let a lot of the outside noise. that they will let you know about, but I do think they do get motivated by some things. I found an article written by one of the local papers around here that basically was breaking down Louisville's road to the Final Four and just looked completely past, this first and second round. Basically, the article did, just go into all the teams that they'd have to face in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight and all of that, and the potential matchups there. And so, I think some of that maybe they will mention internally, but you would never know that they have discussed that, maybe bulletin board material, until after the fact.
Jessica Coody with us in Louisville. Husker women will play Friday. I mentioned earlier in the show, Jessica, tomorrow the NCAA Wrestling Championships get underway in Detroit. 8 Huskers are there. 7 qualified to the Big Ten, and then Chad Redd got an at-large bid. I think Eric Schultz can win the whole thing, and maybe I'm looking at it through red-colored glasses, but I think Eric Schultz has a possibility to be a national champion.
I do. I really do too. And I think he's just got such a good approach to this season. He's, I think last year was just, obviously it's devastating for him, but it was kind of a wake-up call. But then also the fact that he got the extra year back, he's extremely grateful for it. And he's got a new approach to it. And I think he's enjoying this, and he's learned a lot and knows what it takes. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I think he's got a good shot. I think there's a couple of guys that they could, if they get hot, get the right matchups. But I think Eric Schultz has got to be top of the list to potentially bring back a national title.
Starts tomorrow at 11. ESPNU will have the TV coverage. It'll be a wild 3 days in Detroit. Schultz is actually the 3 seed at 197. Labriola is the 9 seed at 174. And then you've got 3 Huskers that are 10 seeded. Taylor Venz at 184, Ridge Lovett at 149, and Peyton Robb at 157. I would not sleep on Ridge either. I think that's another guy. And Jessica, I know you've had a chance to talk to Ridge a couple of times during the year, but he's the kind of guy to me that could really ramp up his style, ramp up his energy here for these 3 days in Detroit.
Yeah, and I think he was pretty ticked off about getting pinned so quickly in the Big Ten championships, would be my guess. So I'll bet he comes in pretty fired up. But yeah, he's just a guy that, he's so electric, and he's just got so much energy, and yeah, I think he's fired up and ready to go, and probably motivated a little bit by what happened in the Big Ten's getting upset there. And so yeah, I think he would be another guy that nothing would shock me. Nothing that he would do would shock me.
We'll have some results for you tomorrow night here on Sports On. But again, the first round tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ESPNU. Tomorrow night, session 2 will be on the Deuce, so you can follow that. So don't forget about the Grapplers tomorrow when all the NCAA basketball gets cranked up at 11 a.m. 402-413-2400, the number if you want to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. Buckle up, put the phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Back to wrap up the show next.
It's Ford Truck Month. Now's the time to get a great deal on the only trucks built Ford tough. Work or play, get after it in a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford Maverick pickup. And get after any adventure with deals on Ford Ranger. Take advantage of our best offers on the full Ford lineup of trucks. But you better get going. These deals won't last. Get to Ford Truck Month.
In a world where fun and cash prizes collide, one game explodes to the forefront. Cash Blast from the Nebraska Lottery. Non-stop excitement, a winning thrill ride, and starring you. Until April 12th, play 2x2 weekly for a chance to win $5,000 or $500. And if your ticket was a 7-day draw, your prize is doubled. Don't miss it. Cash Blast, playing at a lottery retailer near you. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agents Tanya Blaine or Jesse Dunbar in Norfolk, or Agent Bud Morrell in Ogallala.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Final few minutes of Sports Signing here on a Wednesday night. Greg Sharpe in studio. Jessica Coody with us in Louisville. There with the Husker women who will practice tomorrow and then get ready for their game with Gonzaga on Friday afternoon. Let's head to the phones. Husker Dan up in Westport joins us next. Hello, Husker Dan.
Hi, Greg. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thanks.
Hey, I just, touch a little bit with the baseball. I've been listening to you guys, and by the way, you do a great job on the color. And as far as, I don't think anybody needs to hit the panic button yet. There's been years where we start out slow, and once the team gets adapted with each other and what everybody does, and I think we're going to be fine.
Last couple days have been encouraging. They have, yeah.
Yes. The walk-off, wow, that was really exciting listening today. But anyway, my other thing is, and this is kind of, I'm not a big hockey fan, and the only time I really watch hockey is the Olympics when USA is playing, and I really don't get the sighting and all the rules and all that. But, I seen something on Facebook, and I want to ask you this, and it's something like, does Nebraska have a hockey team? I kind of seen that it's a club team.
It's a club team. Yeah, it's a club team.
Oh, okay. So with Trev Alberts coming from UNO, and they had a hockey team, is there anything down the road that maybe this would develop into Big Ten play?
Well, and Dan, I need to let you go. I appreciate the phone call. I doubt it. I think Trev's been asked this in the past. I don't see Nebraska adding sports right now, and I also think there's probably some protections built in for UNO as they're part of the region, saying that they have the hockey team. They don't have football up there. They have the hockey team, but I don't see that happening. But we've got Trev coming in for his monthly show next week. Maybe I'll jot that down to ask him that next week. Appreciate the phone call from up in West Point. All right, St. Patty's Day tomorrow. A little green in any of your drinks tomorrow, Jessica?
I'm probably gonna get peach because I only brought red up here, so I'm just gonna take the chances and roll with it.
They were passing out these really cute little St. Patty's Day's hats at the baseball game last night. I picked up one for Andrew. I think he'll look great in it.
Yeah, I mean, if he could ever get a haircut.
He's getting it tomorrow.
Hey, by the way, listen to the call. That was awesome. Right before we took off, I lost service, right? But I got to hear the walk-off. That was awesome. Back to back.
Fun day there. Enjoy tomorrow. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Look forward to what you come up with here on the show tomorrow night. Have fun.
All right, sounds good.
Jessica Coody in Louisville. Thanks to Tim. For everybody listening tonight, good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
United Healthcare believes small businesses are vital to our economy and an important part of our communities. Join United Healthcare in celebrating small businesses. I'm Rob Broomfield, United Healthcare of Nebraska's CEO and a graduate of the University of Nebraska. We want to recognize your small business with the Spotlight on Small Business Sweepstakes. Winners receive radio interviews, social media recognition, and more. To enter, visit huskers.com/spotlight. United Healthcare, proud partner of Husker Sports.
Start your car buying journey today at Woodhouse Ford and experience the difference. Discover a new era in the 2022 Ford Edge. The seamless integration of power, performance, and technology allows you to feel confident on the road. Place a custom order today and design an Edge that meets the demands of your lifestyle. Plus, shop online anytime at woodhouseford.com or visit us in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
Here is a before winter to-do list from J-Tech Construction. Let's start with windows. Triple pane window technology has saved homeowners countless dollars on heating and cooling bills. Siding serves a crucially important purpose, protecting your home and insulating it from adverse weather conditions. And don't forget about your roof. Designing your roof should be simple and painless, and J-Tech offers several payment plan options. One more thing on your to-do list, call J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul. Not to mention their injury list.